Hey everyone, welcome back to Nerd with J&J. My name is James Charmack, and we are looking at another Marvel Legends figure today. We are looking at another figure from the Spider-Man Retro Wave. We are looking at the Daredevil from the mid-90s. This suit is one that comes from the comic books. It's from the storyline Fall from Grace, in which the main villain was the Daredevil doppelganger, and Murdock's identity was released to the world. So, in the end of the storyline, he killed his doppelganger, and everyone just assumed it was Matt Murdock who passed away. So he just went on being Daredevil and hid himself from the world and did that. And basically, it's a new outfit. So let's take a look at the outfit. Let's take a look at the accessories, the articulation, everything that comes with the figure, and do some comparisons with Daredevils and comic book figures in the past. So let's get on to it. So let's take a look at the figure design, or the costume design, and the accessories it comes with. So in the comic book, you probably don't know, he had a rough time in his initial fight with the doppelganger Daredevil. So he armored up, to protect himself. So he's got a lot of metal going on, like obviously shin and leg plates, shoulder plates, chest plate, red, back plates, whatever, anything up, just anything to give him some kind of advantage against the doppelganger, and of course to decide the fact he has the double D on his chest, trying to tell the world that he's not he's not Matt Murdock or whatever. Anyways, so one design aspect that is different from, say, a traditional Daredevil is he has these gauntlets that magnetically attach to the billy clubs. So if you wanted to, say, just use the billy clubs on their own, you just take off the hand, take off that part, put an individual gauntlet on, the open pair of hands, because he has two pairs of hands. One's a fist, one's open, and connect the billy clubs together. Yep, there we go. And use it like a mini bow staff. He comes with a Matt Murdock head, which I don't get, because when he was wearing the costume, he's trying to convince the world that eventually he tries to convince the world Matt Murdock is dead. So why have a Matt Murdock head, especially with the glasses on? Oh well. Anyways, that's it for. So pretty cool looking figure. This is the 1990s, so they went with like costume redesigns pretty much. So, and character changes and whatever. So obviously they went for a darker, more armored look for him. So there you go. Let's take a look at articulation now, shall we? Okay, so let's take a look at it. What he can do, what he can't do, whatever. So his head can go back that far, can go forward that far. That's pretty nice. All the way around, a little bit of tilt, a little bit of tilt. His arm only goes up so far just because of the shoulder plates, but the Azuro can go all the way around. He's got bicep rotation, double joint at the elbow, wrist rotation back and forth. Can bend back that far, go forward that far, all the way around at the waist. No diaphragm joint. Legs go apart super far. Go forward and back, for James Brown split. Thigh rotation, double jointed knee. No calf rotation, but he has forward and back and angle pivoting. So this one has a tight ankle joint on the right side, so I'm trying to be careful with that and not break it and not overdo it. So we'll see how it goes and see how it affects the posing. So let's talk about his packaging. Okay, so obviously, let's take a look at the package. The package is very retro. It's designed to look like the Toy Biz old Spider-Man cartoon wave. Obviously, Daredevil figure in the armor he wore in the comics for like a year. They made like a regular Marvel figure out of it, but that's about it. Didn't really do it for this way per se, but it is what it is. And they would usually have an action feature, press this button or whatever, but all it does is it says you can switch your head on him. And it has a text, so the text says, although he is blind, Matt Murdock possesses superhuman senses and Courage as the superhero Daredevil. And the other figures in the wave on the bottom. So back to the front, let's get back to the review. So what I try to do with the posing is I try to make him both a street fighter and a ninja, and show him acrobatic with kicking, and put him against Bullseye with a sweeping kick to knock him down, as well as doing a roundhouse kick to his neck, which I think went pretty well. So I don't have the Spider-Man from the Spider-Man cartoon, but you know, the retro Spider-Man from a previous wave is going to fit just nicely with Daredevil. And basically, if you want to, you can reenact the scene from the Spider-Man book after the life theft storyline, where he got tired of people taking advantage of him and decided he's just going to stop being Peter Parker, and he asks Daredevil how he stopped being Matt Murdock. And Daredevil's like, I don't know who Matt Murdock is, but if I wanted to throw my life away, here's what I would do. So there you go. They do respect each other. They're close friends, I guess you could say friends, but they have respect for each other. Always teaming up, da-da-da. So, of course, Daredevil's part of the Spider-Man storyline. And you can't really do a Daredevil pose or action type of thing without a Kingpin figure, am I right? So, here we have the old Build-A-Figure from last year in a pose, you know, looking like he's trying to beat up Daredevil, and, you know, looks pretty cool to me. And Bullseye's just in the background watching. So, what are you gonna do, right? And just to compare, I have the MCU Daredevil, the Netflix Daredevil, whatever you call them, here to compare. Just because I think they took the idea of an armored Daredevil, more or less, or at least they were somewhat influenced by the comic book version to a degree. Not too much, but the idea of paneling and having an armor for a fight kind of, you know, seemed, you know, inspired to me. A little bit, not too much, but just enough to, you know, influence the look, I guess. I don't know, because it could have just been a regular, you know, you just could have just had a regular red outfit, but, you know, if you saw, obviously, the end of season 1, it's an armored type of thing. But, you know, I could be wrong. So, when this design first came out in the mid-90s, people weren't fans. I dug it, though. I like, you know, I'm a color guy. I like difference in colors, you know. Obviously, people are like, oh, it's a change, sacrilege, whatever. But, you know, I like how colors contrast with each other. So when you have something like this where the reds and the blacks and the grays contrast with each other, it just makes for a dynamic looking character to me, dynamic looking costume. I mean, I know, you know, in the comics it's more made out of necessity, and, you know, it was a time where people were like, we gotta change outfits, we gotta change characters, whatever. But, you know, I think it's one of the better ones from that time for me. And, you know, the figure itself, you know, I wish that they have a little bit more articulation, like they gave him I know they probably couldn't give him a butterfly hinge with the shoulder armor, but, you know, I would have liked to see if they could try. And the calf rotation, you know, just because he's about as acrobatic as Spider-Man, and you get those crazy poses, so I would have liked that a little bit. But still, pretty cool figure. I probably going to see about maybe put her in my top 10 at the end of the year. We'll see. You know, I'd like to, but, you know, there are probably more figures coming out. We'll see how everything goes. So, you know, very cool figure. If you're a Daredevil fan, obviously you want to get it. If you're a Spider-Man fan, or at least a fan of the comics from the mid-90s, you know, you ought to get this figure as well. I'm not saying it's a necessity, but, you know, I'm a Daredevil fan. I like the costume. You know, I kind of want to see it, you know, this kind of a costume come out eventually. So I like it. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, wish there was a little more articulation, but otherwise, you know, it's a pretty good figure, and, you know, it gets my recommendation. So anyways, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I always appreciate it, and I can't say thank you enough. Just a little channel, and, you know, I'm basically public access, more or less. So that's my budget. That's how I do things. Just one-man operation, more or less. Except for the music. I gotta thank Jason Morgan for, as always, the music for these reviews. I always appreciate it. So we're continuing on. We got a couple more figures from the Spider-Man wave that I have that I've been collecting dust. So gonna see about reviewing those. And until next time, guys, thank you guys once again for watching, and keep on collecting, and happy hunting.